Every day, everywhere, we are presented with an abundance of options, which is a double-edged sword. We definitely benefit from a large array of options, but at the same time, this abundance often brings additional worry. Everything in life is a matter of choice. We choose to brush our teeth every morning, we choose to wear underwear when we dress, and we don't have to. Yes, we choose to do it, but we don't really choose that, do we? That's what everyone does, so it's a norm, and those types of choices have become so automatic we don't even consider doing otherwise. Those automatic habits are actually quite saving in terms of psychological burden. If everything was a matter of deliberate and conscious choice, living would be too much for any of us to bear. Even with a limited number of options, the process of making good decisions is already hard work, so imagine how hard it gets as the number of options increases. This is when having many options becomes a burden. In economics, this is called the law of diminishing returns. Past a certain point, the number of options ceases to bring satisfaction. In a study about gems, psychologists found that consumers are 10 times more likely to purchase gems with a table that displays 6 sorts of gems compared to a table that displayed 24 sorts. You might think that more choice is always better, but actually, as options expand, you have to invest more time and effort in order to make better decisions. And once you've made your decision, you're more likely to have second thoughts about it. So given the overwhelming options we are presented with, how should we make a decision and not regret it? In the survey, people were asked whether they would want to choose their treatment if they got cancer, and the majority responded yes. But when cancer patients were asked the same question, the majority said no. Patients didn't want to bear the responsibility in case we chose the wrong treatment, so we preferred doctors choosing their place. More choice equals more freedom, but it also means more anxiety and responsibility. More choice is better in prospect, which is why we would always opt for more every time. But up to a certain point, more choice becomes so overwhelming that it causes distress. In the words of Dr. Barry Schwartz, what looks attractive in prospect doesn't always look so good in practice. Conventional wisdom says that having very high standards is the best way to get good results, meaning maximizing our choice is the way to go. But in a study, people with high maximization scores experience less satisfaction in life, were less happy, were less optimistic, and were more depressed than people with low maximization scores. The opposite of maximizing is to satisfy, which is to settle for good enough and not worry of a possibility that there might be something better. A satisficer doesn't set the bar too high, and once he reaches its standards, it stops searching even if there are many other options. Compared to a satisficer, a maximizer will be plagued by anxiety and regret just by thinking about all the other potential options. Every regret they generate will decrease the satisfaction they get from the choice they made. According to Dr. Barry Schwartz, maximizing is not a measure of efficiency but a state of mind. Maximizers are not comfortable with compromises because their goal is to get the best. They're always open to the possibility of finding something better if we just keep searching. We are all maximizers in some areas of life. We can be maximizer when it comes to technology and be a satisficer when it comes to clothes. Nobody is a maximizer in every decision. But what separates maximizer from satisficer is the number of decisions in which we operate as maximizer or satisficer. The overload of choice can be a nightmare for anyone, so the solution for someone who is overwhelmed by all the options available is to adopt a satisficer mindset, meaning to let go of the expectation that the best is achievable. A large array of options isn't a burden for a satisficer. In fact, they are more likely to find something that meets their standards without checking out all the possibilities before deciding. Maximizers are not always aware of their tendency but think that they face difficulties whenever they have to make a decision. So if whenever you must make a decision and it takes you a long time plus a lot of efforts only to end up second-guessing your final choice, you're definitely a maximizer. To ease the burden of overwhelming options, it's better to make decisions about when to make decisions. Make the decision to follow rules such as to only shop for natural food when grocery shopping, this way you won't lay ass on processed food, or to always wear the same shirt every day so you won't have to contemplate the abundance of options when it comes to clothing. These are called second-order decisions, and the minimalism trend is based on this idea of choosing constraints. Mostly only buying things when it's necessary and keeping only the things you still use. By using those types of constraints, we are making life more manageable and taking better decisions with no regret. Less decisions brings us more psychological well-being.